community is still saying Kung Lao is very good. A lot of the community is saying he's taken a lot of adjustments and he's not really the same character he used to be, but really it's all about how you play in the set. And these guys know each other inside and out. So in this sort of matchup, I think it's going to become less about the matchup and just these guys playing against each other. Like, BOKI's not fighting Takeda, he's fighting Storm. You know what I mean? Even though he's playing Takeda and he has to play the matchup to a degree, when you've played as much as these guys have, it becomes a bit more about the opponent less than the character they're playing.
Well, I think it's also fair to assume that I think BOKI is quite an unorthodox Kung Lao player, where it's, you know, it's not so, I guess, by the book in that it's, you know, dedicated pressure in one way into the same kind of, you know, predictable kind of neutral that is super, I guess, tried and tested for some of the Kung Laos. Like, BOKI will do button presses, all kinds of button presses into orbiting hat. He will do a teleport if he feels like it's going to work. He will do a dive kick if he thinks it's going to work. You know, you see these kind of strings that BOKI uses that you don't really see much Kung Lao players do. It's very kind of,
he plays with his gut feeling. He
exactly.
really plays from his gut. Just if he thinks it's going to work, he's going to do it. But Storm plays in a similar way with Takeda, and that's what we saw him take a lot of success from, especially in Season 2. I mean, let's not forget, Storm was the highest placing international player at the ESL Season 2 finals, where he did do a tremendous job of getting 4th place from losers bracket round 1. But again, these guys have played against each other so much that, I mean, it's going to be a close one. I predict it being close, but I generally don't know which one to pull for here.
I mean, I think by tournament results, BOKI would actually take it over Storm. I don't know what their results are like in the ESL Pro League, but offline, as we said, in those locals that VDV tend to put on, Virtual Dojo Vienna, where BOKI actually does tend to take those weekly tournaments. So if these guys play each other a lot, BOKI seems to have the upper hand. However, you know, a tournament is a tournament where the pressure's different, the way that you feel on a tournament day might be different. You know, it just depends on how you play on the day. And right now, instead of it being a weekly, whoever plays well on the day-to-day is going to get seeding points, more money, and a higher shot at going to play for, you know, $200,000 at the Season 3 finals. I mean, that's going to change your gameplay, potentially, if you're not ready.
I just don't think Storm can really afford to go out in round 1 again, because normally, you know, I mean, Storm didn't win any of the weeklies in Season 2, but he was, we say this word a lot in the league, consistent. He was a very consistent player. He had a lot of semi-final placings, a couple of grand finals, I believe, across the 8 weeks, but a lot of semi-final placings. And those points are what really, he was very comfortably in the finals by the end of it. It was I think he was like the fourth player to be confirmed in points. But even then, it was done quite early on because he had a lot of semi-finals placing, a lot of decent placings early in the league, and sort of stuck true to that. But if he goes out 2 weeks in a row at 8th, then he's really putting himself in a hard situation because the competition is so much higher in Season 3. We have the introduction of the CIS players. We've got St9rm, we've got Vladdy, we have Arzu, we have Harry Nightmare, who made 16th this week. He was eliminated by Madsen, so he didn't make top 8, which I believe was as I heard, a really good match between the two of them.
Didn't Storm have to defeat Flet as well?
He did.
To get top 8?
It was very nearly another CIS-dominated league, but the EU guys pulled through and stopped that from happening. I mean, let's not forget, Foxy and Madsen are arguably Europe's 2 best players on tournament results, and neither of them could enter last week because they were at Hype Spotting, where they got first and third.
Honeybee did defeat Madsen, yeah,
yes, of course. But still, they placed very well at Hype Spotting, and they weren't here because Hype Spotting had a large pop bonus. It was definitely worth it for those guys, but they missed out on this, and they took the risk of losing out.
I think, speaking of taking the risk and missing out on finishing points, I think what's really cool actually as well was that Honeybee and Biohazard also couldn't enter the ESL Pro League last week because they were also in Scotland for Hype Spotting. Honeybee and Biohazard entered this for week 2. Honeybee and Biohazard are both in the top 8.
It's another good week for CR.
Fantastic to see.
It's
CR have been really strong as well.
Because you got Honeybee, you've got Bio, and you've got Sonic Fox, who obviously we've got Dragon now as well. But and obviously Brown Cowboy. What I was going to say doesn't apply. I was going to say they were like the 3 strong CR players, but they've got so much more than that now, and you really can't count any of the team out. They're just a very consistent group of players, especially for NA. But who do we have in EU for CR? We have Zarakamaka, who we've not seen for the past couple of weeks.
I think it's as you said in that video earlier on, he's been sitting under a waterfall doing some meditations. I don't believe he's been able to enter.
He has a new main, and I don't think he thinks it's quite ready for tournaments yet. I'm not sure. I know he's been playing, and he's been putting a lot of time in, but he has a new character that I hope we get to see unveiled at some point in the Pro League.
Well, fingers crossed. Absolutely fingers crossed. I mean, we're starting to see these high execution characters really start to rise up, especially with the new netcode that Mortal Kombat X has as well, where, you know, Vladdy, I mean, we can't forget the masterclass of Johnny Cage that Vladdy put on last week.
He was on a bit of a rampage last week.
It was crisp cancels into crisp cancels, and it's all thanks to this new netcode, which just, you know, with the exception obviously of the built-in 3 frames of delay that online has to accommodate for the rollback system, like, it allows for these high execution characters to really thrive. And then we can see BOKI going for the tried and true Tempest Lao, Storm in for that tried and true. Wait a minute, Ronin, Takeda.
Really?
Alright, so just to give some of you guys a little bit of information, Shiro Ryu was what Storm's bread and butter was. I have never seen him even use Ronin in casuals before. But I completely agree with the change, you know, the fact that maybe in this matchup, Ronin still has good pressure. You can still bait things like reversal spins if you think they're going to go for them, but Ronin gives you the option to, you've got the quick reversal, you know? If he's going to try and rush you down, you've got the meter burn down forward 1.
Oh, tries to go in for the back 1, but BOKI's going to sniff it out with his forward 2. He's going to beat it clean for the first hit, but already has him blocking. But he's going to try jumping out of that. But no, we'll get a full screen whiff punish, and that's the thing that Takeda in general has to be really careful of whiffing these big recovery strings in front of Kung Lao, because Kung Lao can still chase you down. He still has a crazy amount of mobility.
Now the problem is that was an extremely expensive sequence of attacks there from BOKI. Now he spent all of his bar. A combo drop from Storm. Wow, these guys dropping a lot of combos right now, looking quite bad.
Oh, we're going to catch him with those projectiles. Storm gets a little bit of a life lead right now. Tries to, I mean, Ronin's a lot about reads. You know what I mean? His pressure, a lot of it's guaranteed, but it's all about just trying to read how they're going to try and get out of it. But BOKI's going to get a nice meter burn spin. Uses his only bar, but Storm has a breakthrough available, but also 2 bars for a reversal. Maybe some more pressure if he wants to, but no, uses it on the projectile, which is quite strange.
Now that's one of the changes. I mean, that overhead was made a bit slower. Tries to go in for the down back 1, but Storm, very unfortunately, doesn't throw the blade down close enough to BOKI. Accidentally gets the medium range 1 and already commits in to the callback before he realizes he's thrown the wrong one down.
Clean dive kick as well for BOKI to finish that one out. I mean, going in, oh no, misses the confirm. BOKI probably tried to turn that dive kick into a full combo, but unfortunately does miss it.
Jumps himself into the corner. Not sure I agree with that. Storm goes for the reversal. That back 1 staggered, that back 1 really good tool. Kind of like shades of Melina's back 1 too. Very similar kind of like, you know, double mid, good range on the hitbox there. But gets a good grab, throwing him straight into the corner. And although the meter burn all-back out was adjusted, I mean, against Takeda, he's still got a chunky hitbox.
Now, I'm really not sure if I agree with the Ronin decision here, because Storm, I understand why he's done this, and he's been playing Takeda since day 1, so he'd know far better than I, but...
Bad whiff, though. He doesn't get the punish.
But we can definitely tell that he's nowhere near as comfortable with Ronin as he is with Shiro Ryu at this point. So, I mean, maybe a little bit more work, but if he wins this game, that's going to give him a lot of momentum and a lot of morale boost going into game 2, but has to be so careful. And BOKI gets meter burn teleport, so he's really approaching low health right now. Oh, just slightly mistimes that, but this is almost chip territory, he has to be so careful. Good blocks for BOKI, tries to go for the dive kick again.
Storm has made many comebacks in the past. Here we go.
Oh, it could be the one, but no, it's going to whiff the 2 punches, and it's going to whiff before the dive kick does punish it. I'm not sure if this Ronin is ready to defeat BOKI right now. I'm not sure if
he didn't seem very comfortable. He very much did not seem very comfortable picking Ronin in that situation. I just don't think that the execution was there. I mean, the thing is, BOKI actually dropped a lot of combos in that game, but it was because normally when we see loads of combo drops and stuff like that, you would see Storm, especially using Shiro Ryu, where he would punish that mistake hardcore with a full combo into hard knockdown, into meter burn kunai, and you know, you will die for that one mistake. That's how Storm makes a lot of his comebacks. Now with Ronin, he hasn't quite got the same element. Ronin will potentially kill you on a single touch because he can keep you pressured, he can restand you.
But that's not what we saw in the match. That's the problem. I'm not sure if Storm quite has the muscle memory needed right now to sort of do that. I mean, obviously getting and blocking the forward 1 is really important, but BOKI's going to burn 2 bars right now. Expensive combo, but 40% nice damage payout.
So one thing about Tempest Lao, I mean, Tempest Kung Lao doesn't necessarily need to spend a lot of his meter to get good damage, to get the overhead there. That could have been orbiting hat into 4-4 for big damage, just pretty much as I can talk about it. But that's one of the things of the matchup as well. Kung Lao so mobile. I was just about to say, you cannot whiff anything against Kung Lao's Takeda, because he'll just run in and whiff punish you all day with a full combo into knockdown, into pressure. Nice grab. I mean, normally you're so used to seeing Kung Lao players go in for established mix-up pressure. Like, a grab is just kind of almost guaranteed in that situation, unless you make a super hard read.
I mean, Storm just keeps finding himself in these situations where the dive kick is literally all that's needed to finish it out. I mean, in that case, not quite enough to chip, but even if a dive kick's going to chip you, it's almost impossible to avoid it because it covers such good ground, and if you can use it on reaction and really do a lot with it. But Storm just keeps finding himself so low on health that it's really difficult to deal with a dive kick.
Oh, and he runs straight into the orbiting hat. No hit confirm there, ready for Storm. Just commits into the back 1-1. Probably wasn't ready for it to connect at all.
Oh, there's a neutral jump kick. Could have been a punch for bigger damage, but BOKI at least gets the hit into the knockdown. Meter burn, hat toss used there. Just going to go for the grab instead. Storm has to be really careful, though, because he's really approaching low life as well. Going to keep his breaker. BOKI not going to get a massive amount of damage, but he really is starting to chip this away slowly but surely.
There's so much respect here from both players. I mean, BOKI was just ready there. for some kind of reversal, because that's actually one of the reasons you actually would pick Ronin versus Tempest Lao, because you want the meter burn down forward 1, which we've actually only seen a single use. That was only in game 1.
And he drops it. Storm just... I mean, it sort of goes back to what I was saying before. I just don't think this Ronin pick and goes for the sort of desperation X-ray.
I would definitely not stick with Ronin in this. I just don't think it's ready. I don't think he is... his Ronin is definitely seemingly not of the same standard of his Shiro Ryu. And again, BOKI was dropping a lot of his confirms. Like, these were a lot of very, very weak hitting punishes. He caught dive kicks on good read, not full combo because it would drop some of the follow-ups. Some of these, he wasn't even going for optimized damage after orbiting hat, like you would see other Kung Lao players go for. I mean, you need to start playing a variation that's going to hit damage. At least when he's gone back into Shiro Ryu is going to reliably hit like a truck every single time.
At very least, it's going to do a lot of damage. I mean, yes, the whiff recovery is pretty crazy, especially against a character like Lao, who has a lot of whiff punish potential. But at the same time, I understand the Ronin pick. I just think he needs to work on it a little more before really bringing it here to the Pro League. Because his Shiro Ryu is world class, but his Ronin just isn't quite on the same level as the Shiro Ryu.
I would definitely agree with that personally. And he goes in, nice meter burn reversal there from BOKI. Gets the corner repositioning into knockdown. Now here's going to come the pressure. It's going to be quite tricky for Shiro Ryu to really deal with that. Nice instant jump. I mean, teleport 3 just to kind of catch him trying to press a button to cross that up.
I get some nice damage this time. 28%, but will drop the follow-up again. But Storm caught not blocking right. And I'm not sure if Storm's just kind of cashed out at this point. He really isn't fighting back as much as we normally see him. He's normally this sort of comeback king. But sort of 2 weeks in a row, he's playing quite slow in comparison to how he normally plays.
Well, you kind of wonder, is this because these guys play so often? I mean, we know that BOKI and Storm have played many, many, many times. I mean, they play in the same nice reversal uppercut there. Mate, unfortunately, it's not going to start loads of sequence of damage there. Can't go for the cancel. BOKI probably ready for the cancel, but just didn't happen.
Oh, wow. I'm genuinely surprised that completely misses, but good stuff by BOKI. Realizes it's going to hit, uses both bars. Another 40% damage. Storm gets a good block on the back two this time, but... Oh, that's a good air-to-air.
Storm not ready for the hit confirm, though, and that's BOKI, I think, is just going to take the trade. Almost gets a full combo, but doesn't quite get it. The grab is going to be decent damage in this situation. I mean, he's got the positioning, running in for orbiting hat. Storm just tries to press a button, and unfortunately, it is going to get sent home 3-0 by BOKI. Now, I think... You talked about how he didn't seem to have as much confidence fighting against Storm there. Oh, sorry, against BOKI. I think it might be because these guys have just played so many times together. It just might be that maybe things just haven't worked in the past and he's reluctant to go for the